In 2016, Vijay Mallya fled India. 9,000 crores in debt, banks chasing him, employees unpaid, assets seized. This is a man who once had everything: private jets, yachts, an IPL team, a Formula One racing team. He was called the king of good times. From billionaire to bankrupt fugitive. But here's the question nobody asks. How does someone with that much wealth end up with nothing? And more importantly, if you're earning 50,000, 1 lakh, or even 2 lakhs a month and still struggling to save, are you making the same mistakes? Stick with me, because in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you the psychology behind why money disappears and how to fix it. Before we talk about Vijay Mallya or your salary, we need to answer one question. What is money? Most people say it's a medium of exchange, a way to buy things, but I think that misses the point. Here's a better way to look at it. Money is an expression of value. When you buy something on Amazon for 500 rupees, you're saying, this product is worth 500 rupees to me. When your company pays you 80,000 rupees a month, they're saying, your work is worth 80,000 rupees to us. Money equals value. Why does this matter? Because we often give money a moral meaning. Money is the root of all evil. Rich people must have cheated someone. But money isn't good or evil. It's neutral. It just reflects value created or consumed. Vijay Mallya created value. He built businesses. Kingfisher Airlines employed thousands, but then something went wrong. Not with his ability to make money, but with his ability to keep it. And that's where the real problem begins. Money has a relationship with you. It enters your life and it leaves. For most of us, money enters through production. You produce something valuable. For most people, that's labor, a job, your time and skills. Money leaves through consumption. Rent, food, Netflix, that new phone, Swiggy orders, Uber rides. We can look at this as a simple equation. Your net worth equals your production minus your consumption over time. Now think about your own life. How much money has entered your life in the last year? How much left? And here's the uncomfortable question: where is it now? A study found that 78% of salaried employees in India live paycheck to paycheck. Not just people earning 30,000 a month. This includes people earning 1 lakh, 1.5 lakhs, even 2 lakhs per month. You'd think earning 6 figures a year would mean financial security, but 1 in 10 high earners still live paycheck to paycheck. How is this possible? The answer isn't about earning more. It's about understanding your consumption. Let me tell you about someone I know. Let's call him Vikram. 5 years ago, Vikram was earning 45,000 rupees a month. Small apartment in Thane, took the local train to work, ate simple meals, managed fine. Then he got promoted, 60,000, then 80,000, then 1,20,000. Each time he thought, finally, now I can relax, now I'll save. But something strange happened. Every time his salary increased, his stress increased too. Because his lifestyle grew faster than his salary. When he earned 45,000, a 300 rupee meal felt expensive. Now at 1,20,000, he spends 800 on lunch without thinking. It's just food. Rent went from 12,000 to 38,000. Better building, closer to work. Car EMI, 32,000 a month. I deserve this after working so hard. Gym membership he uses twice a month, 3,000. Weekend trips to Goa, branded clothes, better phone every year. Each purchase individually justified, but together they ate everything. Last month, Vikram had 4,000 rupees left after all expenses, from 1,20,000. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it's not about being irresponsible, it's about psychology. Vikram fell into 3 psychological traps, and chances are you have too. Trap number 1, the comparison trap. When Vikram earned 45,000, he compared himself to people earning 45,000. Local restaurants, train commutes, simple life. But at 1,20,000, his comparison group changed. Now he's comparing himself to people earning 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs. His colleague bought a new car. I should upgrade too. His friend vacations in Dubai. I earn well, why can't I? His neighbor renovated their house. We look poor in comparison. Suddenly, 1,20,000 doesn't feel like enough. It feels like you're falling behind. And social media makes it worse. Instagram, everyone showing their best purchases, their upgrades, their lifestyle. You're earning more than 80% of India, but you feel broke because you're comparing yourself to the top 5%. Second trap, invisible money. Vikram thought his 1,20,000 salary meant 1,20,000 in his account, but here's reality. Salary credited, 1,20,000. Tax deducted, 22,000. Provident fund, 12,000. Take home, 86,000. But his brain still thinks he has 1,20,000, so he spends like someone with 1,20,000. End of month, 4,000 rupees, and complete confusion. In India, this isn't just about neighbors, it's about family expectations, wedding expenses, showing status. Your cousin bought a new car, your parents mention it 3 times. Your friend got married, spent 15 lakhs on the wedding, now there's an unspoken pressure on you. Diwali gifts, festival shopping, family obligations. These aren't bad things, but when you're funding a lifestyle you can't afford just to maintain appearances, you're in the rat race. And the rat race isn't about having a 9-to-5 job. It's about living on such a financial edge that one unexpected expense, one medical emergency, one job loss, and your entire life falls apart. Your job stops being a choice. It becomes a necessity to fund a lifestyle. To quote someone wise, the things you own end up owning you. This is Vikram's reality, and maybe yours too. But here's the good news, it doesn't have to be. The first step is awareness. You need to see yourself as a consumer, journal your expenses for 1 month, every rupee, categorize them. Housing, transportation, food, entertainment, subscriptions. This is hard. There's something called the ostrich effect, our tendency to avoid negative financial information. It's that feeling when you don't want to check your bank balance after a night out, fearing what it shows. But once you face it, you take control. Step 2, budget. Decide each month how much you'll spend in each category and stick to it. It's about systematically looking at what you consume and finding ways to minimize without sacrificing happiness. The goal, live below your means. Have a lifestyle that still leaves you money to save and invest. But before investing, build an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses, safety net. Vikram did this. He automated his savings. The day salary hits, 50,000 goes straight to a separate account before he sees it, before he can spend it. He's left with 36,000 to spend, and you know what? He's managing, and he's happier. Because he's no longer in the rat race. Now let's talk about production. Vijay Mallya didn't go bankrupt because he couldn't make money. He built billion-dollar businesses. He went bankrupt because consumption overtook production, lavish lifestyle, risky investments, poor financial decisions. But here's what most people don't realize. Living frugally and saving is important, but there's a limit to how much you can cut expenses. There's no limit to how much you can produce. Think about it, you can only reduce rent so much. Food costs have a floor, but your ability to create value, unlimited. This is where people like Sharon Hegde come in. He didn't rely on cutting coupons to build his brand. He produced value, financial education content, at scale, on YouTube and Instagram. Or take any successful entrepreneur. They found a problem, created a solution, sold it to the market. For most people, labor in the form of a job will be their production, and that's fine. But understanding yourself as a producer means asking, how can I produce more value? Can I learn new skills? Can I start a side business? Can I create something the market wants? Production is about maximizing the value you bring to the world, whether through a job, a business, or creating content. Because you can't outsave bad psychology, but you can outproduce it. So here's the framework. Money equals value. It's not good or evil. It's an expression of what you produce and what you consume. Your relationship with money is production versus consumption. Most people's problem isn't earning enough, it's consuming too much. First, fix your consumption, awareness, budget, live below your means. Then, maximize your production. How can you create more value for the world? Vijay Mallya produced billions in value, but consumption destroyed him. You might not be a billionaire, but the same principle applies. Whether you earn 50,000 or 5 lakhs, if consumption exceeds production, you'll always feel broke. Fix consumption first, then scale production. That's how you escape the rat race. So here's my challenge for you. Take out your phone right now, open your bank statement, look at last month. How much money entered your life? How much left? What's your production versus consumption ratio? Comment it below, be honest. No judgment, let's see where everyone stands. And if you're serious about fixing this, journal your expenses for 7 days. Every single rupee, see where your money actually goes. In the next video, I'll break down the psychology of investment mistakes, because earning and saving is one thing, growing wealth is another. Hit subscribe if you want that. I'll see you there.